This is Skyra Lemure, and she is awesome. Has like an amazing, interesting background. I'm not going to get into that. She's going to do that a little bit. But she's going to talk to us tonight about cellular detoxification. And so I think that's something that we all could use. I just drank hot chocolate after eating a bunch of coffee cake. And so I probably need to detox immediately.
Okay, don't worry. I've been detoxing and trying to get myself back together too. So don't worry.
Awesome.
It's been a crazy couple of years. Okay, so I guess I can just tell you. I just start now. I'm Skyra, and yeah, I'm going to present the Body Sovereignty series from the Cellular Detoxification. My company is Sovereign Vision. It's kind of beginning right now, and New Earth Radiance I've been working on for a while, helping people with detoxification. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for showing up, guys, and just bear with me. I'm a little nervous. I'm not doing presentations on Zoom with this thing, so just hope everything will work fine. And yeah, I joined up with Food Forest Abundance. I think it was about the end of the last year, but I hadn't done anything. I left from Hawaii and came back, and I actually went down to Galt's Landing and was working there for a few weeks, and got to experience that, and got to experience being part of building the food forest there. So that was amazing to actually be hands-on with that, so it kind of ties in with exactly what my vision is, my sovereign vision for myself, and to help others heal their body, and to help them with building food forests and herbal gardens, and that's just one aspect of it. So, but yes, that's how I got involved in it, was because of my own interest in detoxification in the lifestyle that I've adopted because of it through my own process. So I guess we'll go to slide one, and I'll just, yeah. And so here's my outline today. I'll be introducing my introduction, and I'll talk a little bit about my story, how I got into detoxification, and like what led up to it. I think it's still okay. And then I'm going to talk about what is cellular detox and what I consider body sovereignty. I'm really big into sovereignty. Obviously, we're all freedom people. And part of that, I think, is it on an individual basis, and it's in different aspects of our life, whether it's through how we're living our life, or how we are living in a sustainable life, or creating food forests, or if we are actually taking care of our own individual body as part of a collective and as a whole. That's, to me, the body sovereignty part. And then I'm going to get into a little bit of the history of Big Pharma and the medical system, and why I completely got out of it. How I'm going to talk about things that they don't talk about, doctors don't talk about, and how the cell function works. And what's making us sick. A lot of people who are sick, a lot of people in the world are sick. I'm going to talk a little bit about the cell and actually how it is working and what's happening with it, so that we can understand what cellular detoxification does to the cell and how that contributes to healing our body. And then part of this is the energy. I'm a big believer that everything is energy. We have all kinds of different aspects of that will change our energy, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But anyway, the energy of food, the levels of detoxification, how family history and trauma can change or can actually contribute to the detoxification process and the health of our cells, solutions in prevention, and herbs that we can grow to keep our cells healthy, and part of what it is that I am doing with Food Forest Abundance. So I think that's good. Okay, next slide. Katie, thanks. So I put all these pictures up of me because this was kind of my journey, and I'm going to briefly go over the timeline I've been on. I wish you would consider possibly, if you believe, a shamanic type journey for 9 years, going through some deep transformation of my life. And when we talk about on the cellular level, we inherit things from our ancestors, and on the cellular level, as well as the emotional patterns and belief systems. So you can see me back in 2012, and I'm going to talk, I'm very open about my story, because I think that is actually my testimony of what, of how we can actually transform our life, and how we can do that, with just how we're living our life, and what we're putting in our body. So 2012, I was on pharmaceuticals. I didn't know any better. I'd been raised up in a family that's how we cured everything, was with a pill. So, and I had been on for 15 years. I had been on antidepressants, and was the lab rat. And there was never any other explanation. I didn't know any better. I just thought that was my plight in life, that I was always going to be on medication. And part of that was addiction, alcohol, but there was something inside me that knew that there was something majorly wrong. And I had been in the medical industry, as in the nursing industry, and it just, something inside me didn't feel right. So when the pain gets so bad is when we make changes in our life, and so in 2012, I found the power, and I decided to get a divorce. I decided to ask for a separation from my ex, and that was the only way that I was going to get better. I tried and tried and tried, and I just knew that was, unfortunately, the most painful thing I had to do was to do that for myself. That was my first step. And the process went on, and I started getting sober. And then I left and moved, because I was always they called me, said I had seasonal depression, or I was always noticed that I was better in the summertime. And so my body needed light. I ended up moving to Florida in 2014. But there was a lot of trauma involved in it, and a lot of really difficult things with involving my children. And I kept getting sick. In 2015, my body was inflamed. I didn't know, I was actually trying to get off the pharmaceuticals at this point. And I was still smoking, like, believe it or not, I started smoking at the end of my marriage, which it's like, I can't even believe I used to be that way, but that's, I'm not, like, for me, it's just because it made me feel so sick. And I was, it's just because it was every time I did these type things, and my body just felt horrible. And because my body was so toxic, it's like your body has a threshold to what it can handle. And then if you're on taking pills, for 15 years of your life, your liver is completely shot. You got all these toxins in there. I was always ate pretty well, I guess you could say. I never was like, but it gets to a point where it just is at a threshold in it. And so my body had gotten inflamed, and I could barely walk, and I was getting nervous system issues. I had like, my legs would start shaking at night. And then I started getting, I realized that I had toxic mold illness, because there was mold in the house that I had moved into. And it went on to finding out that, all these things about, I had heavy metals, I had amalgam fillings in my mouth since I was a child. So all these things contributed to me getting extremely sick. And then also on top, in 2016, I had 2 consecutive accidents. And, if we understand energy fields, when your energy field is down, I had a really major accident where they wanted to replace 2 discs in my neck, and it was called C-MOBI. And three, C4, 5, and 6. I couldn't turn my head, even like without screaming. I had broken my leg and my foot, and just all kinds of stuff. And so that was me in 2016. You can see, like, I was just trying to fake this smile, and I was really overweight, and I was miserable. And something, that the doctors, I didn't go to the I was in the middle of a process of 2015. I started waking up, and I was just like, they wanted me to have the surgery, and something inside me was just screaming, no, don't do this. And I said, no, I'm going to try everything I can to avoid this, because I watched my mom all my life addicted to pills, and I watched her having surgery after surgery, and of all things on her neck, which was really interesting, how that pattern will play out. So I said no, and once you tell the universe no, something happens. And then I got immediately, like within, I mean, like right at the same time, I started getting videos from Dr. Morse through I think it was my Facebook account. And this very one specific was about how he had healed somebody that was in a wheelchair. And I mean, he didn't heal her, but he was helping them, people heal from spinal cord injuries and healing from cancer. And I honestly, I know, at that point, I never went to a doctor. I didn't have a health insurance, but I can tell you that I know that for a fact, I had the beginnings of cancer. And my mother and my grandmother both had died of breast cancer. At 58, my mom was 58. So it's just, we have weaknesses, and we keep repeating these patterns until they're broken. And so I met Dr. Morse. I actually put myself through the protocols of the cellular detoxification. It started in 2017, and it took me 18 months to get off sugar, the standard American diet, which I wasn't, no fast food and no gluten, but I started, the pain started going away, and I started healing. And there's 2019, you can see, hopefully you can see the difference in my face from those two, from the beginning. You can see the light that was coming through. And yeah, it was just amazing what I experienced, the healing that happened, not on a physical level, but it also goes through the physical level. And then once you start clearing energy out of your body, the heaviness, then you have to start dealing with the emotional and the spiritual and the mental parts. And that was all the process that I've been through since 2020. You can see 2021, I was in Hawaii. I left for Hawaii in 2019. I ended up buying land and was trying to build an off-grid community in Hawaii. And you can see from going from a place where I couldn't walk, barely, like inflamed and pain, to actually pulling lava out of the ground and building is pretty amazing. And then, so here I am today, and I left my land, and I'm back here now to use this knowledge that I've been given, and to help people, because out there in the middle of the jungle, it was kind of impossible to do that. And I realized today that is why I had to come back. So I'm here to share this information. So anyway, that's the next, I guess, next. And I'm gonna try to watch my time. So, so I say, I'm living on purpose now. It's like I found through all that journey, I found all my life, I never knew what my purpose was. I was always like a emotional wreck. I had a lot of trauma in my life, and abuse, and all those addictions and everything from childhood. So all of that had to be cleared. And I say that I graduated from the School of Wisdom from Life Experiences. I don't really believe that we have to. I've had a lot of education and a lot of, but I was never drawn toward colleges and universities. I was always drawn to like alternative type things. And so I started out with a nursing aid in high school in 1985. And I was in the system, and even then I was seeing that just something's not right. Something's not right. These people aren't getting well, But anyway, so once this process started, I became a certified life coach, and Reiki, and I went to all the different healing modalities, because you're trying to heal yourself. Then I got certified the Cellular Detoxification Regeneration with Dr. Morse, intro to herbalism. Then I, went to Hawaii and got Hatha and Kundalini yoga certifications, reflexology, Ayurveda, all of it, and then I laughed. I put the end interior design, which I put no pun intended, because I'm actually going to be helping people design their interiors of their life. So, and then right now I'm really into the current, if everyone's heard of family constellations, which it works on the ancestral and generational trauma and how that causes, how disease can be carried through families and generations. And it's quite amazing. And of course, permaculture design, because that's a huge part of this whole picture of, you know, when we're creating sovereignty or soul sovereignty, we're also growing our own food. And yeah, so, okay. So what is cellular detoxification? So we have two choices in our treatments generally, and that's the allopathic, the pharma treatments, which we have for our current, most of our system is based off of that. And then we have the natural traditional medicine, which has been, you know, been around for neons, but we just kind of forgot because we were indoctrinated to a system of pharmaceuticals and medical system, and most are treatment based rather than prevention. And they are also based off of, you know, covering the symptoms up rather than getting to the root cause. So cellular detoxification is a system that addresses the root cause of the disease, which the understanding that the body is the healer. Nobody is the healer except for yourself. But that encompasses the energy is at the core of the healing, and that it's done on a physical, mental, emotional, and a spiritual level. So you know, I always feel that that's quite important in the process, to know that we have something greater outside of us to help us with, because we're, you know, we have to have something to believe in. So that certainly was for me. So okay, next. Thanks, Katie. And if anybody wants to ask questions, I don't have my chat up, so I'll answer any questions afterward. How's that? I'm just going to go through this. And so we're all, you know, we all feel like our body, we're you know, we're more than a body, we're a soul. You know, on the physical level, we have, and if anybody understands on energetic level, we have different chakras in our system. It's energetic levels, energetics in our, you know, from our third eye down to our root chakra. And when we have blocks in the energy, we tend to have blocks in our body, and blocks either on an emotional, physical level, spiritual, you know, depends on where it's at. Sometimes this is physical and sometimes it's emotional. So yeah, things like toxins that are in our body, food, environment. We're not moving enough if we're very sedentary life, which I don't think most of us are here. We're pretty hardcore workers, getting out there, and that's part of it. But I love too is being out in the earth, you know, just moving, and then genetic weaknesses. You know, I'll get more into that, but that's, and then emotional, mental health, where our mind and our thoughts create our reality, and the trauma that we've gone through, and then any kind of addictions. And I'm not talking just, it could be any addictions. It can be addiction to work. It can be addiction to food, you know, it's just anything. It's not addiction to negative behavior, negative thoughts. That was certainly one of me. And then ancestral, I think ancestral, emotional, mental that we carry on. And then our soul, it's our higher self, which is our purpose, you know, while we're here. If anyone believes, if you want to, you know, believe in that, that's great, because that is, I feel all of us have our soul, and why we're here, while we're embodied here on this earthly plane. Okay, thanks. So I can, body sovereignty, I think I went over that a little bit. Sovereignty is defining authority within an individual consciousness, free from external control, controlling authority with the right to do so. Especially after the pandemic, you know, this is huge for me, having the authority to control what we put in our body, and what we are told we have to do to maintain our health, and what options that we have, and what things are available to us to help us heal when we need, and the medicine that we're being shown as to be truth. we have a sovereign right to know and decide that for ourselves. When we exercise personal responsibility over our body and our health, what we consume, rather than rely on outside authority to tell us or provide for us, we take our power back. And that's exactly what happened to me. I took my power back from years and years of disempowerment because I thought somebody outside of me knew better and had the answers. And actually, we all have the answers within us already. So I am, when I teach detoxification or healing, I'm a purist. I don't, and we have everyone, it has to adjust based off of the way they live, their lifestyle is, but I really believe about, growing our own food, accessing local food, not processed detoxification pre-blends. Now, of course, there are times when that is necessary. We all have busy lives, and sometimes we're traveling. But I really encourage purist food where I eat really fresh local food, and use that for the detoxification or for our food. And then, to always to grow our own food, to trade, to barter. Obviously, this is my vision, and I'm certainly share it with many of you guys here, and eliminate processed and fast foods fully. So, whoops. Okay, I have a late one, but it keeps deciding to go off. So anyway, okay, next. So we're going to go into I'm taking my time here. It was the history of Big Pharma. So I don't know, a lot of you probably know Rockefeller's strategy was create a problem, reaction, and they had the solution. So Rockefeller founded the Big Pharma and waged a war on natural cures back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and got together with Carnegie, and they created this report that showed how bad the system needed to be revamped. And they revamped it, and they took away, I think, let me see if I got the next slide. Katie, can you get the next slide? Yeah, there we go. So Rockefeller got together with Carnegie, the steel mogul, to create the Flexner report, which led to the solution of centralized medical institutions, students all learning the same thing, patented drugs and no nutritional education. Holistic doctors were criminalized and forbidden to practice, and it was considered a pill for an ill. And it took health, motivation, the power, and personal responsibility away, and which is huge personal responsibility, not giving our power away to an outside source. Okay. So this based is another part of this healing is that based off of Nikola Tesla, that everything is energy, and we can kind of prove that with if we're really familiar with, we're out there gardening, we can tell that the food needs sunlight, it needs oxygen, it needs water to grow. Without those things, it's gonna die. And that is because sunlight and water and oxygen is part of energy. It's the energy of life. So if you wish to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. And next. And food has energy. This is a little chart that I had, but it's just, basically, and it's a little bit extreme, but it's like the garden veggies are kind of, and then go with the raw organic fruits, which is a little bit higher, and it has an energy of a higher detoxification ability. So a lot of people say I can't eat fruit, or fruit is too much sugar, which is really not true, because fruit has structured water, and structure is extremely hydrating. So if you're out there in the field and you're working, I don't know if you've been out in the sunlight and direct, I was just out there working in Florida, and I'm dying when I'm out there. You're hot. The only thing I wanted to eat was watermelon, because it was just, hydrating, and it just made my body feel better. I didn't want anything heavy, because it takes and if I had eaten something heavy, I would want to go to sleep, because it takes your energy down, which is not a bad thing, but at all. But so anyway, it just goes up, and then to higher levels of fasting, meditation, clean air, being in nature, and then to pure sunlight and oxygen. That's just kind of the way it works. And the nuts and seeds are the bottom. And then of course, if you want to go lower than the energetic would be like processed foods and fast food and stuff like that. But so, and I just had a little thing on there. It talks about the you could actually measure the energy and the agnograms of these different things, and you can see how now it's cooked meat is saying 0 because it's considered a, it's not alive. I'm not promoting any type of diet. I'm gonna tell you that this is not here to promote any type of a label, a vegan or keto or anything like that. This is simply talking about the energy of food. And then when we're in the detoxification and the healing process, we tend to have to eliminate those type of things because we're trying to get our body to a point where it's using as little energy as possible and it's being fed as much energy to be able to heal itself, because our body heals itself. We don't need anything outside. We don't need anything to it actually, if you get a cut, your body, your arm breaks, it knows what to do to heal itself, but it takes energy. And then if we're already sick and we're full of toxins, then our body takes longer. It's going to take longer. It won't be able to heal fully, or sometimes it'll heal just a little bit and then, but not all the way. So when you go through the deep detoxification process, like I did, and I did actually a 3-year process because it's on a different, there's so many levels of healing that we have to go through. But I had, years and years and years of chemicals that were in my body. So when we bring in higher energy food to our body, it helps our body to heal better. Okay. And then there's also the levels of consciousness, which it ties in with the energy of our emotional state. We can live in a place of love or fear. Where we live dictates our ability to heal and our experiences, happiness, peace, and joy. This was one of my first books when I was on my awakening process. And was The Power versus Force by David Hawkins. Amazing. I didn't understand it fully. I was a lady. I had all these considered angels that came along during my journey that just gave me a piece of information, and it really just hit me. Like I was something that just really, I don't know what it was, but that has become kind of the baseline for all of my understanding in this process. And then of course the blocks can be the physical, the trauma, unbalanced energy, and then the ether ancestral trauma that we carry. Oh, you got it. Awesome. Yes. It's like the best book ever. And it talks about if we can live in a place of love. I think I have it on next screen. I think I put a thing on there. Oh, no, I don't think I did. This is the emotional guide. So it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, unfortunately, maybe I didn't put it on there. Oh, well. So it's the next one. You can go ahead and go into the next. And then, so this is like the upward spiral, which you're going up and, you're going into hopefulness, contentment, positive, enthusiastic, passion, which is where I'm feeling right now. Like I get really passionate about this. So, and joy and knowledge and empowerment and freedom is love and appreciation. And that's where we want to live. That's what we want to strive for in our life. And that we have to get rid of all the other trauma and everything that's in our field, in our energy body, what creates the downward spiral and the emotions and the things that we might have experienced in our life, and sickness and disease that we might have been carried in our body when we didn't know. So anyway, that will affect our power, our fear. It'll affect the way we see the world. So thanks, Katie. Next. So this is I'm going to go into basic cell function. So this is a real basic. I'm not getting into any biology. I'm not really, I'm biology. Of course, I had to understand it too. And I was taking it in high school, and I did some college courses and stuff. And so we have, basically this, if you can see the cell has receptors, and our body, our skin, and our organs are all, of course, made of thousands of millions of cells. And the cellular inflammation, when we get inflammation in our body, it's because our cells are inflamed. A cellular inflammation, it's on a cellular level. It's not just my liver's inflamed. It's actually the cells that are inflamed because the receptors get blocked from toxins that can't get out. And also the healing things that need to come into the cell to heal it. And that's generally, and I'm going to go into more why these happen, but it builds up toxins and causes disease. And one of the absolute biggest base causes that we have right now is a thyroid. The thyroid is causing havoc in our hormones, with the insulin, and you get signs like constipation, weakness, your hair might get thin. It's really prevalent right now, and I might have sore lymph nodes, because of what we are exposed to on a daily basis in our environment. And but we can make ourselves very healthy and make ourselves not susceptible to these toxins that we are subjected to by living a lifestyle of prevention. And so anyway, I just want to go real quick. The mitochondria is where the ATP is produced, and it makes energy for our body. If it can't let the toxins, it'll create brain fog. It can't burn fat, and it just muscle. And sometimes people will get like a bigger stomach, and that's actually been my problem, is because of all the toxins and all the trauma. My receptors weren't working. And every time I do experience a major stress in my life, I will get a flare up. But so it's something that you can maintain, and you can also with the type of things I'm going to share with you about how to do that. Okay, Katie, go ahead. So the 4 types of physical toxins that create inflammation and destroy cell health: chemical, environmental, the pharmaceuticals, pesticides, herbicides, household, personal products, EMFs, cell phones. I'm not going to get into all of it, but these are just the basics. Heavy metals, heavy amalgams, the silver fillings, vaccines, food sources, environment, water, and inherited. We actually can inherit heavy metals from our parents and our grandparents, from the cells. Mold and parasites, environment, processed food and sugar, and it's also very connected to heavy metals. And then cellular waste and lymphatic fluid, which is the lymphatic system will get, so they don't really talk about the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system is what's responsible for moving the toxins out of our body. It's not blood. And so anyway, the lymphatic system will start slowing down, and the lymphatic system goes through all of our whole entire body. So if we're not healing on a cellular level, and so like say somebody has cancer, and they go in and they cut a piece of your body off or out, because your cells are still sick, you're still, and it's in the lymphatic system, it's still in the body. So it has to be healed at a root level, because otherwise it'll come back in a different form. And it's extremely important for people to understand that we can't cut things out. We can't burn it out. It has to be healed at a root level, at a root cause. Okay, thanks. So the difference between a cleanse and a detoxification is the depth of healing on a cellular level. The cleanse is for clearing, and the detox restores the cell function. And when I'm saying a clearing, I mean like it's like you might do a little detox, a week or a few days, and it will start. It does help, absolutely. That we all should do them regularly, but it usually cleans out the bowels, or something gets cleaned you out a little bit. But when you sometimes, depending on if we're relatively healthy, great, just a cleanse works for most people. I mean, for a lot of people. But if we are experiencing symptoms on a regular basis, that means that we have to go deeper into the cleanse and look at what we're putting in our body and what can we get rid of. And then, we also, I'm not saying I ate crap all the time. I have, especially these last 2 years. Oh my God, I've been like, and then since I came back from Hawaii, I've gained like 10 pounds, and I was stressed, and I was like, what happened to me? And I was getting sick again, literally, because of the I decide, oh, I can go to the store and I can get there in like a mile and I can go get ice cream. I just haven't eaten ice cream. And it really, the reaction that I got out of my body was crazy, but I kept eating it because it was like immediately there's a sugar. I mean, you're going under stress. For me, mine is sugar. I just want to go back to sugar. And, and then, so my cells remember like, oh, okay, here we go. Let's do this again. And it starts all over process. So I am back on the detoxification process at this point right now in my own life, because I went through about 2 months of just really going deep into eating everything I wanted to. But it doesn't, I mean, but it wasn't so much, and that's why I realized too, it's not so much the food even, it was my emotional state. And then that's why I'm so, it's because it's not, we can eat things because we can change the energy. We can say, and if we want to eat ice cream once in a while, eat ice cream. That's awesome. If you want to smoke a cigarette once in a while, smoke a cigarette. But it depends on how much is built up. Like how much is in that, how much is your body, and to what point is it going to start making you sick? And that's what we have to keep, that balance. And I wasn't balanced again. So I was back in a place of, stress and everything from leaving and coming back to the mainland. So anyway, so it's all a nice fine tuning of balance and different energy. And so, okay. So, and then, so it's like diet and then supplements will not get most people well. We must seek the root. And then pain opens the mind to awareness, transformation, and change. So a lot of people just want to sell us supplements and tell us that we're going to get well, but that's really not working, because it's just covering, it's like taking a pill almost, because if your cells aren't functioning, the supplement just keeps, if you're functioning well, you're not getting, things from the food you're eating, because most of the time, if your cells are functioning right, you're already getting everything you need in your cells. It's already taking in everything it needs. We don't need supplements. But if there's some kind of a blockage or something, then generally supplements aren't going to help, because it might help a little bit, but it's not really, still not getting to the root. So anyway, okay, go ahead. So detoxification supports disease of all types, because most disease stems from the same root cause, which is the cell. So this can be depression, cancer. And this is so, I hear Jim talking all the time about like, we can get rid of blood pressure and cancer and, all this. And I'm like laughing, because I'm like, yes, this is how we do it. Because we eat this amazing food and we grow our amazing food. And that's how that is part of the whole, it's just, so that was so much my interest. And, when I went to Hawaii, I went there to learn how to grow food, and I bought land, and I wanted to live that sovereign life of being just like immersed in, beautiful oxygen every day and sunshine, because that was what my body needed at the time. And it is true, and amazing how oxygen is another big thing in this. But all these things, even nervous system, our nervous system disorders can even be caused on a cellular level. Anything that has an itis is inflammation. So itis and inflammation is there's something wrong with it, that the cells need to be fixed. Okay. And so caring for your body is quite like a garden. You're going to remove out the toxins and the stressors and the physical, chemical, emotional, and we're going to repair and nourish the soil, and we're going to give it oxygen and sunlight, and we're going to heal the inner terrain, the soil, change the microbiome in our body, and then we're going to restore and flourish. And the body heals itself with the right environment, just like our food can grow with the right environment, to make sure. That's why we do all these beautiful things and give all kinds of amendments while we're planting, so that it has the right environment and can flourish. And it can't get attacked. Good healthy plants don't get attacked if they got all the right they're healthy, right? So we can't get attacked if our body's already healthy. We stay strong and sovereign, and we grow and produce and create. So I hope that correlation, that's what, and I was out on the, I was working out, and I had worked on my land in Hawaii, but it wasn't the same when I was out there at the food forest with everybody. And I'm just out there picking weeds, like I was out pulling weeds that would grow. And, it just reminded me of that we have to get to the root. We got to pick out the root, because if we don't, the weed's just going to come right back. So that was, for me, was a huge correlation as well when it comes to permaculture and growing food. So, okay. So we have all these herbs, and this is just 15. I put 15. Let me go, and I've got a nice little list here, because every herb is going to help us, but and these are just some random ones that I picked up, but for my own process, cilantro is an excellent heavy metal detoxification. It pulls out heavy metals out of your body. When I was in the process, and before I did all this I did Dr. Morris's protocol, but at the time, I wasn't able to work, and I didn't have money, so I was doing it all myself. So I did everything wrong. Like I experienced everything possible because I was trying to figure it out myself. And I didn't have professional help. I was like trying to figure it all out. And so I did a lot of the wrong things as well, I don't consider them wrong. I consider it that it was a learning experience, so that I know, like I got to experience in my own body the things that can happen if we don't do detoxification wrong. Because actually our body, we don't actually die from the detoxification process, or from our body trying to heal itself. We can die from that as opposed to anything else, because it's trying to use so much energy to heal that it can't survive anymore. If that makes sense. So I don't know what I was saying. So anyway, that is so we can use all of these herbs with parsley is heavy metal, chemical, it moves lymphatic system. Licorice root is adrenals, antifungal, it's antibacterial. It's great for the endocrine system and blood sugar. And astragalus strengthens the cells and the adrenals. Paw d'arc is great. It's for a tea. It's for great. It actually helps with candida issues. It strengthens the cells and increases energy to the cells. It's also anti-parasitic. Ginger, and everybody knows ginger. It tastes great and mixed up in a smoothie or cooking with it, but it's great for the digestive and lymphatic system. Yeah, circulation is the other one. So that, I know during COVID, everyone was like going to dandelion, and that's definitely dandelion tea is an alkalizer, and it detoxes the liver, and the gallbladder, kidneys. Comfrey is for the lymphatic system, the lungs, and it strengthens the cells and the connective tissue and blood. Stinging nettle is a good one. It's an alkalizer, and it's great for the thyroid, which is really extreme right now. And that's a lot of people's, that's a lot of what's coming up right now is thyroid and hormone issues. Let's see, motherwort. It's good for hormones and adrenals. The heart, it's a heart tonic. Wormwood is excellent for parasites and bacteria. Antibacterial, I'm sorry. Thyme is also good for antibacterial. and these are all can be made in teas. They can, so we can use all these, the plant medicine, it can be used, they can be eaten, a lot of these can be eaten raw. The roots of some, leaves, you can make them in tinctures and then teas. And then, you know, mullein is a great expirant, is mucus. We carry a lot of mucus in our body, and our mucus will build up in our intestinal tract. Like if we're eating a lot of red meat or meat in general, and it's not moving, your digestive system is messed up. Usually there is a buildup of biofilms in the intestinal tract, and that's where parasites can get in and they actually bury in, and it's what happens when we get leaky gut, and they will bury into the, so that these type of things then will help pull it out. And lemon's also a great detoxifier for the intestinal tract. And it helps pull biofilms out where the parasites cannot live in our body. But parasites generally only live in our places that we have weaknesses. If we can, if we're going through a major stress, or if we're having a, injury, because our energy levels, this is why I brought the energy into it, because if our energy level goes down, then we're susceptible to these type of infections, just like a plant is. It can be taken over by bugs if it's not healthy, or it's not getting the right nutrients, or if it's had some kind of a injury, or something's happened to it. It's just, our body is the same way, and we're susceptible to those type of things. And then let's see, I think I got mullein, I had that. And then let's see, cloves, there's the antibacterial, antiparasitic. Wheatgrass is an amazing alkalizer for the body. It has chlorophyll, and bacteria and parasites hate chlorophyll. They do not want to be around it, and it makes them go bye-bye. Okay, so that's some of the things. And of course, there's so many. There's just everything, and it's endless. And so the best thing is we can just, there's books that you can get to look up herbs and see how you can use them to heal. Again, sometimes you might have to breathe. There's other things if you're actually in a high detox, like these are just like for daily use, to maintain. Sometimes if you have a little bit of a flare up, you can use these things and it'll help it. But if it's not going away with these, then you have to go deeper. And there's other things that have to be done, like a deeper detox, using binders. Charcoal, actually charcoal is one of the best binders for our body, as well as we use it in the food forest. So it's actually the same thing for our body. It'll bind up the toxins. Okay, next. So we get to choose, we get those who make a decision to heal and use their gifts to help create a new earth. And I'm really big, I bring about the new earth. I believe that we can go in and change some things, but majority of the things that we can't change, we have to, if people don't want to, anybody doesn't want to change, we can't make people change. We can't make them see anything. We can't go into a system and make it change. We can bring in information, but not everyone wants to hear it, and that's fine. So what we do is we concentrate on the ones that do want to hear, and we create solutions and sovereignty within our own new world, new earth, where we can build away from that old paradigm. And we're going to just bring in the new way. But a lot of the new ways are the old ways, like the natural medicine is the old way. It's not anything new. Just like growing food is nothing new, but we just forgot. So it's amazing, isn't it? But that's how programming works, and fear that was brought in from our ancestors. So yeah, okay, Katie, I guess just a couple more, I think. Yep, 2 more. And then, so I am, now that I am back on the mainland and I'm getting back into society, and I have access to internet regularly. I'm learning how to use this in Zoom. No, I am going to be, I was doing all of this kind of work back in 2018 and 2019, helping people detox. And I had all kinds of groups going. And then I decided I was going to Hawaii, which because there was another level of my own healing that I had to go through. And that was the emotional and trauma healing ending side of it that I didn't know. That was part of it. I thought I felt so good when because actually I was changing my diet and I was in high detox and I was like in all the spiritual high, felt because my energy was so up, but eventually that will crash if you haven't done your shadow work or you haven't done your emotional trauma. I mean, part of it, I was working on a lot of it, I have to say, but it wasn't as deep. It went a lot deeper because it wasn't just mine. It was my mother's, my grandmother's, on both my ancestral that I was clearing. I came here to clear all of it. And I'm not trying to, but that is literally what I came here to do. So it's been a rough go, but I'm doing it for my children because part of the thing I didn't talk about when I got divorced back in 2012 and 2011, I made the decision to leave my marriage. I also made a choice to walk away from my children at the time because I couldn't even handle that. And it was like the most painful thing I've ever done in my life. Now I didn't like walk away from them and leave, but I actually separated my life. And because of the dynamics of the relationship, I had to physically get away. And so that caused a lot of like, severe shame and, guilt, which kept me sick for a long time. But, once we deal with all of that, and we can see that how what we heal in ourselves is healing the collective. So what all the work that we're doing on an individual basis, we're doing it for the collective. We're doing it. We're not, we're all connected. We're not doing it just for ourselves. And I'm doing this. I did this for my children, whether at the time, I did it for myself now, but at the time that was all I had to keep me going forward was that I wanted to be a mother. And I made a promise when my mom died, that I was going to not live. I was not going to die of cancer, and I wasn't going to die like the way I watched my mom, totally strung out on all kinds of pharmaceuticals, on a morphine drip, very just horrified, like her body was just shriveled to nothing, and it horrified me. And that was in 2006, and I made a decision at that time that I was not going to live that life. And it took me all these years. And, it's still, still don't know, but we do our best. We do our best with what we're given. And that was what, I made that decision back then. And it did. And once we make a decision, those decisions manifest. And it might not be right away, but it does manifest eventually. So anyway, I'm starting a New Earth Radiance body program. It's going to be a 12-week self-paced, and it's going to be through Telegram. It's going to be quite simple. I used to get really complex with things, and I'm trying to really simplify things and make things simple for people, so that they can understand programs and they can fit it into their life, because we're all busy right now. We're busy creating, we're busy building, but how can we get information that is practical and useful so that you have time? And to me, it's like not in these big, long programs, but Telegram, you can just look up videos and I can get your content, learn really easy. And so I'm going to be doing a 12-week program. And during that, there'll be like different cleanses for 3, 5, and 10 days. So you can experience the difference, how it feels in your body. I'll be doing detox protocols and support bi-weekly. I said Zoom, but I mean like wherever I'm on. I'll be doing those question and answers, and then weekly content, meal plans, recipe ideas, and you'll get much more information on herbs than I could put in tonight's class. And this class is because I'm extremely passionate about it and here to serve. That's what I'm here for. And I want to focus on solutions for everybody. So that is my first level that I envision I've created like my sovereign vision. I created, that's my plan for myself. And, this part is the part that I'm most passionate about, is helping people heal and get off pharmaceuticals and get the information out there that we're not getting, it's all hidden. And I'm going to start speaking big time and using my voice, because I am not going to sit back and watch all this happen any longer. That's part of my own empowerment. And then the other part of it will be, I've said I was in training for family constellations, which is amazing for the ancestral trauma. And that part is going to be the second level, where if somebody wants to go deeper into healing process, I'll be able to support that as well. And then I'm going to fit in all of that with clients to help them build food forests and herbal gardens. And that's what my vision is. And, creating community. And I have no idea where it's going to go from here. And if you get to know me, if you guys want to ever, I'll share some, you can share some of my story about what happened in Hawaii and why I came back. Anyway, so that's for that. If anybody's interested, if you want to put in the chat, you can just say yes, or leave me your email address, or you can find me actually on Telegram, a New Earth Radiance, or Skyra. I think I'm under Skyra on Telegram, so anybody can ask me questions or anything. Okay. And then, and then one more. I think I got one. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it at time. And okay, and then I got one more slide, I think. Yeah, this is the connection and resources. So individual consulting, coaching, detoxification, addiction, recovery, trauma, healing programs, family constellations, and then sovereign vision, food forest, and herb garden is what I'm doing with Food Forest Abundance and installs and designs. And there is my Telegram and my email. And I'm also on YouTube. I'm building a channel, New Earth Radiance. So I'm here for any questions. Hope I didn't talk too much. I get passionate.
That's great. Thank you so much, Skyra. I'd put in the chat, send me your Telegram, but I see it right here, so it's perfect. I'll put that on the email out that we send with the link to this, so that folks who weren't able to come live can check out what you're doing here. This is great. I'm definitely signing on to follow that 12-week program. And
awesome.
That'll be,
yeah, I'll send out information for that. I don't have it ready. I do. I know what it is. It's just I haven't done anything. I just set up the account on Telegram today. So
nice.
yeah, it's your New Earth Radiance, I think level 1 or something. But I'll send out the information on that. But that would be amazing. I would be so excited for you to join that. And I love, my passion is working close with people. I'm more about quality than quantity. I really enjoy working closely with people. So one-on-ones is also another option for people. The 12-week program is designed for people who aren't really sick, who don't have cancer. We're not looking at people like that's a whole different level, but this is people who are really maybe experiencing some inflammation or some skin issues, or having some kind of, maybe bowel problems that we can look at and we can heal. If you're getting into like major, all these diseases like cancer, we have to go, there's a whole lot more to that, but that's so possible. So anyway.
Yeah. No, there's just
thank you, Dave.
Thank you so much. And I mean, we've been personally, Andrew and I have been witness to people healing terminal brain tumor diagnoses, lymphatic cancer, with basically like this sort of process, like with healing through pure foods and plant extractions and things like that. And it's incredible. We really don't need to be blasting our bodies with radiation and things like that. And so it's great to have this connection and your accountability to keep. That's what I need.
I'm like this warrior, just kept on going. I get kicked down and get back up and kicked down. I mean, this was like a long process. This is like, you think you're done and it's like, oh, bam, kick in the face, some more, and which I just happened again, but that's life. That is life. And we have to learn to flow with life. And I got into a really, down. It was really rough, when I left Hawaii and the way I left it. And it was, came here and like, okay, now what? Because I had gone there to build my home. And and everything kind of fell through. So yeah, we go through this is just life that we go through and things we have to face, but it also showed me, through that, because I ended up getting sick again. I've been dealing with my own health issues again. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not like prime health again. But I'm back on it. And I'm realizing, that now that I've got a little bit of a focus again, because it got so off kilter. It just threw me off so bad. And I had been getting sick there because of all the trauma I was experiencing and getting robbed and stuff. And it was wanting to hold on to the land and not leave, and it was just another proof of how, when we can't let go, how it can actually still create illness in our body too, and it's so amazing to get to experience and to see how these type of things affect our health. But I know what to do to bring it back. So, and once you have the information, and once you can't unknow it. You have the tools. You have the tools to heal, because your body can absolutely heal itself.
Yeah, awesome. And we have the responsibility to do so as well. So
yes.
Yeah, this is great. So thank you so much. And
you're welcome.
Yeah. Did anybody have any last questions or anything to add?
I don't know, Lucy. I'm just now seeing all the comments, so I'm sorry I didn't get the chance. I was trying to focus on it.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's a lot of folks just loving what you're doing. So
I'm immersing in technology, so just awesome. But I'm not that bad. I really am not. I just gotta get on it and do it.
Yep, that's all it takes, and this worked out just fine. So all right, cool. Well,
thank you. Thanks, guys. All right.
Yeah, I'll send out the
recording. Thank you. Thank you all for showing up. It was so beautiful to be able to speak and talk about it. So
yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing, Skyra. It's excuse me, we're all learning, growing together, networking. So that braveness, boldness to just enter a new video medium is something new to a lot of us, I think. But thank you for sharing it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for showing up. Thank you. I appreciate the support.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, everybody, wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful evening, day, week, life, and touch. All right. Thanks so much, Skyra. That was beautiful.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Oh yeah, anytime. Cool. All right, you guys. Ciao for now. Namaste.
Namaste. Aloha.
Have a good night, guys.
Night.